Have you seen the movie Courageous?
Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah, the police.
It's more of a historical.
In some way, we do a very similar.
I would totally become a knight if I
Can I
could.
say yes, we would.
There's this, we went to this ordination.
You know, all this craziness, there's not something between, you know, everybody can do everything. No,
Yeah.
just leave
Yeah.
everything.
The ladies
Where
were
it should
like
be
these.
thankful to God and my God is strength and they did their things, you know.
They did that, but that handled something.
Their things.
They got rid of it though.
Don't just
The night
always
we were
try
here, they
to
were there
compromise as you make it.
Monday.
With their
You
little
know, hats.
They were dressed up. They were dressed up.
I like that.
Yeah,
I thought they got rid of it. I love it. It's like, I want a sword.
I don't really have swords, but they did have
Responsibility.
St. Joan of Arc has been like coming with my friends, just like asking for her intercession.
We saw people that
Courage.
are alive for confession, so.
Sword?
Yeah, 4:30 to 5:30.
Leodero, we watched a video of Leodero
He'll
talking
come
about
in.
it.
Yeah, so.
Like, a 19-year-old girl saying this.
Oh,
Hold the
okay.
cross higher so I can see it through the
Okay,
flames.
so you want
She said that while she was burning on the stake. Like, Mrs. Stalin, she's amazing.
Okay, can I have your undivided attention? Undivided, yes, thank you. Okay, tonight, as you can see, there's a lot of gentlemen here with red shirts on, so, but it's not just the red shirts, but, these gentlemen are from the Knights of Columbus, Council
4621.
4621. Okay, we've always asked, like, what's a knight? What does a knight do? What do you have to do to be a knight? So I saw Timothy, like he was talking to you. Yes, a knight is for men, but if you ladies end up getting married to somebody that joins a knight, you also have a role in that too. So these kind gentlemen are here to explain all of
Oh,
that.
that's cool.
So, Steve, are you Grand Knight?
I am not. Bob back there is Grand
Okay,
Knight.
okay, so there's a difference between the Grand Knight and the Knight and all of that stuff. So they're here to explain all that to us. And they're gonna feed us dinner tonight too, so here they are. So, welcome gentlemen.
Like you eat before you fly.
I think they'll enjoy it, so I'll turn it over to you,
Thank
sir.
you, Betty. I am Steve Austin. Look, I wore my name badge. Nobody else wore one, but
We know who we are.
we don't. Yeah. The Knights of Columbus, which, as she said, it's the largest Catholic fraternal organization in the world. There's nearly 2 million of us, right under 2 million of us right now, worldwide. That doesn't leave the women out. We have an association called the Columbiettes, and they're kind of an auxiliary. And I looked last night and see if I get an email back, but I know there is one out of St. Mary's, and I bet I haven't got anything yet from the lady in charge of
But
it.
you have some from my home parish too.
Yeah, they assist us in whatever we can come up with, and that's. I don't know if you guys are ever in out. I mean, you go to all the events, and I'm sure Father talks about it, but we're the working arm. We go out and we do the work, and you have to do the work. All right, so we started in 1882 in New Haven, Connecticut, a parish priest, right? This parish priest named Father Michael J. McGivney. There's a book about him called The Parish Priest, and it's really, really interesting. And you have to, most of y'all are smarter than I am, but our history is not that great as Catholics. When we got to this country, they did not treat us that well. And this parish priest, he had a parish full of Irishmen. And he saw that these Irishmen were getting the hardest jobs, the most dangerous jobs. They were falling victim to alcohol and just falling out, and they would leave their family. They die, and then they're the only breadwinner. They leave this family really in difficult times. So he was looking for a way not only to save those guys, but to save their families. And he came up with some other, they looked at other groups, and there were some groups that did insurance. And he started the Knights trying to figure out a way that we can get these men to come into this group, and we can start saving money, make each one of them start saving money to save their family if something happened to them. Now this parish priest died at 38. Times were not easy in those days. So that spawned, I think we're close to 20,000 councils worldwide now. 2 million members. It started our Knights of Columbus Insurance, which is in the top 100 most ethical companies in the world to work with. And if you think about what that means, we're doing the right thing, we're doing it for the right people. And there's not any crookedness in it. So they invest in stuff that would make all of y'all say, okay, that's what we're for, that's what Catholics are standing for. They don't invest in, medicines, and they try to stay everything within the church's teachings. We are separate from the church, okay? We're not affiliated, we're not associated, we're just there. So it keeps the books separate to keep everybody keeps a charity status that way, so the tax status and all that, it makes a big difference in the numbers. But let's see. It was modeled after some insurance things, but moreover, it became this men's group that is a very tight-knit bunch, and you'll see these guys, they're all a very tight-knit bunch. Like I said, it started in 1882, so we just had, about 130 years. Stan, you were in the first one. How'd that go?
Well.
Father McGivney was something else, huh?
Great guy, great guy.
I read that he put on plays, he put on baseballs, anything to keep the community, his Catholic community, involved.
Much like Father Alvin, he has a sense of humor.
The TV, I don't know if you saw the TV.
It's okay.
Oh,
So,
okay.
of course, now that it's this huge company, and I can't tell you how many billions the insurance company is worth, but I think probably most of us have Catholic insurance through the Knights of Columbus. You have to be a member, or the son, or the daughter of a member. That's why they can keep it so ethical, because they're not selling to just anybody. They're selling to the group like us, like all of y'all. Okay. So I had, these are just some videos they put out. It seemed like it's playing in fast forward now. That part I don't really understand, but this was one of them that I thought was pretty cool. We're gonna need a little more volume here. I thought that was pretty slick. Babe Ruth was a Knight. How about that?
And that makes me want to join.
How about this? One more that I've just learned at the Super Bowl. Harrison Butker, the kicker for the Chiefs.
Oh yeah.
Brother Knight.
Yeah.
I was like, that's right. So, you see that this is worldwide, right? There's all kinds of initiatives that we take part in. And maybe you don't see them here, but they're somewhere probably in Texas too. We fund the ultrasound program. The Knights do fundraisers, and we give this money to this one particular program. And when they get enough money, the Knights of Columbus Supreme matches that money, and they'll buy an ultrasound machine for a pregnancy care center. Very pro-life, as y'all know. And I thought that was pretty good. People don't really know that we take care of those. We've committed more than $25 million to help the Christians in the Middle East who have been targeted by genocide. So it's not just here. And this is something that happens worldwide that we may give our money to, but we don't realize all the things they're using that money for. If there's disaster anywhere in the world, we may not be first on the scene, but we're right behind them. We don't make the news. You'll never hear on the news that the Knights gave $500,000 the day the towers went down to start a fund. You won't hear that, but it happened. We provide coats for these kids. They do a coats program. Last year they did 124,000, or in 2020. That is a lot of coats. They have a wheelchair mission every year we buy a wheelchair to donate to somebody who needs a wheelchair. Let's see, this says since 1981 we've provided $80 million in support to over 115,000 seminarians. And seminarians are near and dear to our heart simply because we need them. Look around, our priests they're struggling to cover, we're running out of people. It says over 100,000 of the wheelchairs, and they had a really cool wheelchair video, but it was pretty long, so I didn't want to bore y'all with all that too much. And we've done thousands of those ultrasound machines, and those things are super expensive. I think I read it's $60,000 for each one. So we have to raise a bunch of money, and then they'll help cover it. And we're not the only groups out there trying to be pro-life, but we are. When you watch those marches, you see those Knights of Columbus signs sticking up out of that crowd. Hey, Father. Hey. He's trying to sneak in that back there. Let's see another famous knight there. I think this one's 3 or 4 minutes long. No, 2.
Can you turn it up a little bit?
I can sure try.
He was all Slav, nothing but Slav.
When I got to Afghanistan, our home council worked hard to gather low or 500 school supply sets. We were able to distribute these school supplies out to hundreds of little kids.
The apostles of Jesus provide aids to orphans with food, clothing, and shelter. And beginning this year, the Knights of Columbus will help them assist even more orphans who so desperately need our help.
We have some low-income families affected by the fires who lost their homes. Having coats provided in the cold northern winters it's great.
When I got the call saying, could you go down and help out in Joplin? I said, well, how are we going to do all of this? And she said, don't worry, the Knights of Columbus will be there.
I can only say God placed it in me to want to help people who were struggling in a radical way. It's offering people without an appointment the opportunity to come through our doors and receive the care they hope for.
Probably a program I'll never get to be associated with, but I'm associated with it just by virtue of being a member. I think that's awesome. All right, so we provide a little bit of service, right? You guys probably seen us at different meals. I'm sure the Canyon Knights have been over here to cook for you. Good group of guys. Why didn't they give this speech? They got better talkers, I'm sure. But one of the things I want to touch on is why I joined and why that guy joined and that guy joined and that guy joined. This is a group of men who have a like-minded, like morality. We share a lot through our Catholic faith, right? That you don't share. You have other friends that are whatever, you know. They don't share all of those internal feelings you have about your Christian life. That guy does, and that guy does, and that guy does. Not just that they'll have my back, but they share in those feelings, and I know they're out trying to do the same thing for their family. It really is a great bonding experience. I didn't have any brothers, I had 2 sisters, so maybe that's why I needed them so bad. They help us support all of our parish needs. And it's not just money. We're not just out raising money. We're also out mowing their grass. Where'd Tony go? Tony's the chief mower. Tony and Greg, we're out mowing. We're out taking care of stuff for the convents. We're out. And some of these guys will tell you, I get a lot of phone calls from people I never met saying, hey, can you come help? Sure, why not? I have no clue who you are, but we'll come and help. And every once in a while somebody will say in the group, why are we moving these people again? Well, I don't know. I guess because I answered the phone. But we're supposed to. So it's been a lot of fun for me but I get a lot of not just camaraderie, but we share in that same deep set feeling of wanting to serve. And there is no better feeling than helping somebody for nothing other than just handing them the help. You're not getting nothing out of it. There's no pay. I can call them at almost any time of day or night, and somebody will respond. What do you need? Where are you? I'll come get you. That kind of thing. It's very good. So we help the local community. Our council, we do the Food for Families, and we donate to that every year. We do fundraisers for that every year. I think I didn't bring the video, or I didn't open the video up about the Special Olympics. The Knights and the Special Olympics have a very, very special tie. You know, Kennedy started all that, and he was a Knight. And so, President Kennedy, for those y'all are really young, so. Stan, you were there, right?
Yes, Steve, I was right there on the knoll.
Okay. Well, it is a wonderful, wonderful feeling to go and volunteer at those events. And all you're providing is somebody to hug. Really, that's all it takes. We've done several of the bowling and track and stuff like that, basketball. They just want somebody to see their accomplishment, and it is so fun to do. Doesn't cost you a thing, and you brighten this person's day, and that's what we're supposed to be really working on. The natural disasters, we have disaster relief teams in several of the Knights councils. And when I say a Knights council, if you're a Knight, if that boy's a Knight wherever, he's a Knight with me too. Doesn't matter where you're at. If you're a Knight, you're a Knight worldwide. That's a pretty good feeling. I wear my Knight's hat. None of us are wearing them here. Anywhere I go on vacation, somebody will stop me and say, "Are you a Knight?" "Yes, I am." And then immediately we have something in common. That ultrasound program, there's no telling how many lives that saved. That is such a huge thing. So, it's a fraternity, so we have these principles, right? And the first principle is charity. We do all this stuff, we do all this work as charity, but we also raise money, and we give money to the schools, we give money to different things. We are not, you know, we don't go out and make millions. We go out and provide hours of labor off the backs of these men. And if some money comes along, that's fine. We're going to give it away. Whatever we make, we're going to give away. Doesn't matter. But according to the latest thing I read, we're at about $1.5 billion in charity worldwide, and we're at about 600 million hours of volunteer work. Find me another group giving that kind of effort. That's a lot of guys working right there. This says, be sure you mention the unique band of brothers. I'm telling you, I love these guys. Father Alvin, he came in, he fell in immediately. I was like, oh yeah, this guy's going to work out great. That smile hit the room, and everybody's like, yeah, we want him. But you share those values and that faith, so that's pretty good. The other, let's see, the other two are unity and fraternity. That's the second and third principles. You know, unity, the more men you have, the more people you have working together, the more you can get done. And they use the example of a rope. One strand of a rope will break real easy, but a bunch of them woven together, you cannot break. And that's what we are. We're all those strands in that rope. We're out there serving our parishes, our communities, other Catholic families. Whatever journey they're on, we're trying to help them be on that journey. So we also have a lot of faith growth opportunities. Father does Mass for us like he does for y'all here. We do stuff together to grow in our faith. We have prayers, and we do Mass at the hall. And I'm sure Mass here is the same way. It's very up close and personal, and I like that. This mentions the insurance program. Most of y'all don't have families yet, I bet, but you're never too young to start getting your financial, the rest of your life in order. The insurance guy didn't come tonight, so I don't think he's going to show. Anyway, we've been doing all this for like 130 years, so, and it's not just a fraternity in a name. It is a brotherhood of Catholic men, and we do it one day at a time. We do it one community at a time. We get together, we work, we play, we eat. This group pretty much known for eating and cooking. I'm not guaranteeing tonight, I wasn't there when they cooked. So, and then you got to uphold those principles. let's see. Yeah, we try to make the most of it for sure, for sure. And I brought some prayer cards. And then this little booklet is for the guys if they want to look at joining. Of course, that gentleman's already in. These are family prayer cards, but Bob ordered these for a while back, and
May I ask something?
you most certainly may, and I might even have an answer.
Oh, yes, so if some young man says, yes, I would like to join the class, so how did you do this? And what is happening?
This is easy. You come and talk to one of us, and we will take care of you. It's not as hard as it once was. It doesn't take all day now. It doesn't take hardly any time at all.
But how often do you meet, or what is required?
Our particular group meets on Mondays. About every other Monday. If anybody's interested, you grab one of these red shirt guys and they'll tell you all that kind of stuff about men and where. If you're interested, like that young man, any meetings, come to our meetings. I don't, Oh. They're just prayer cards that Bob got them for kind of recruiting. We're not really trying to recruit anybody here. We just want y'all to know we're out there. We want y'all to know we're here to help. And if you'll look at the back of this room and see all that white hair or no hair, I need some young help. I think our average age is about 108. So we need, just like the church, we need to see the perpetuation of our Father. I'm sorry, Matthew. Matthew's back there. He's our hope.
You have to be a certain age too?
You have to be 18 and Catholic. That's it.
There is a serious man crisis.
This is
1 in
about
3
that crisis.
Catholic men that have been baptized have left the faith. If you're a thinking person, you've asked yourself that question, why am I here? To know him, to love him, to serve him. Not only does God have a plan for your life, so does Satan.
I remember I went to confession one time, and the priest just looked at me and he said, the devil wants to destroy your family, but he has to come through you to get him.
If I'm a man, I'm called to pass on the faith. If I'm a man, I'm called to live the faith. So I need to know my faith. Every man needs to walk into that breach and begin to fight that battle, which means you've got to know the power of the Eucharist, the power of prayer.
My rosary beads are the key. I look at life as spiritual warfare. They're beads for the battle.
A lot of guys are like, I'd be willing to die for that, but they're not willing to live for it. And guess what? If you're not willing to live for it, you probably won't have what it takes to die for it.
Talk isn't cheap, talk is free. Talk is nothing. I care about you, I love you, right? But then if I'm taking care of myself first and everybody else second, it doesn't matter.
If you're not willing to fight for the truth, what will you fight for? And the answer is oftentimes nothing. The need in the world is of men among men who can rise higher, who can see further, who can strive more nobly than others. They need not be many, they never were many, but though the few, they will rise and bring with them the whole of humanity.
This Into the Breach is a series that they put on their website, kfc.org. It's on the national website, the Supreme website. You don't have to be a knight to watch those videos, and they are really inspiring. All of you young men, you should watch them. Just a little reminder of how important your faith is for you and for everybody else, for your family.
Got my rosary.
There you go. When you become a knight, they hand you a rosary, and they tell you this is your warrior right here. So, anyway, any of you guys like to tell me why you joined? Bob, why'd you join back in what?
Well,
it's been a long time.
It was the brotherhood, and it's hard to do charity on your own. And that's one reason I joined, because it's a group. It's easier to do charity work as a group, because where do you find out who you can give charity to? Whether you're a single person or a person. That's why I joined it, and for our family, because whenever I was young and had children and everything, it was a family affair. We had steak nights every once a month, and it was a whole big family affair. My kids really enjoyed it.
We have a lot of events where your family's invited. Our mass, that's not just for us, that's for our family. And we share a meal, we share with Father, and it's really awesome to do that. Of course, we invite other people too. We don't normally get a lot of extras, but it's pretty fun. Just the visiting. Father, why did you join the Knights?
Well, initially I was assigned, and I was glad to be assigned there. Then I moved to Ambaga, where I would have moved on, but I basically asked to continue with this council and continue with the other council, just to have a bigger brotherhood. I mean, it happens on my day off, but it's like a cherry on top of the cake. It's wonderful being with them, yeah.
Well, we were certainly glad you joined our group, the group, because everywhere you go, you're a Knight. So the guys in Dunbar are glad to have you.
I think from the group that's here, you're making decisions already on who you're going to hang out with, who you're going to be around, who you're going to surround yourself with. Surround yourself with the right kind of people, right things happen. As a Catholic, there's no group right here that's in the. And that's the trick. Who are you going to surround yourself with? Who are you going to focus on? You got a study group. You're not going to pick the D student or the F student unless you're there to help them. You're going to pick the best in the bunch. And that's why we picked us. And it's not, you make the group better by you participating, but it's the core Catholics. I teach a marriage class, and in that class, the thing that you look at is, if you pray together with your spouse, you are only 0.3% chance of getting a divorce. The divorce rate in the United States is about half. Just think 0.3, not 3%, but point. So if you surround yourself with Catholic men, what do you think that's going to do to your faith? What do you think that's going to do to your husband's faith if you're married? Or your own personal faith? Surround yourself with important, good people. Life is easy. Mistakes become less, successes become more, and there you go. And as you get older, you just want to continue to do it, just like you're doing right now in college. You surround yourself with good people, good things happen. You surround yourself with people that aren't so good, there you go. You're in
You
4
make the
universities like I was, and you drink your way out of 3 of them. So you surround yourself with better people, and you find that you will succeed in life. So to me, that's the most important thing that I can tell any young Catholic gentleman that's even thinking about it or even moving on. Whether you join or you don't, it's up to you. But that's the core. You pick good people, you stay with good thoughts, good things happen.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
Okay, so like how she asked earlier about the Grand Night and the different stepping stones.
Right.
Explain that a little bit, elaborate it, cause I know my grandfather was a knight.
Right.
He did wear his whole thing, and at one
Did he have a big fluffy hat?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
With the sword
We get
and
questions.
everything, yes.
We get questions about the sword and the fluffy hat.
It's enough where I know that whenever he said this way, he passed away in 2015.
Sorry for your loss.
Yes, and at that point, the knights were there for him.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've been to way more funerals than we want to. I guarantee you that.
There's 4 Grand Knights, ex-Grand Knights that I know of in this room.
Oh, probably more than that. I don't know.
Grand Knight is just the leader of that council at that particular time. We have a structure just like any other organization. It's in our minutes. We have a set of
Student
bylaws. We have a Grand Knight, an Assistant Grand Knight. We have Chancellor. It goes on. But mainly that's just the leadership team of that particular council. Now there are 3rd degree and 4th degrees. Your grandfather was a 4th degree.
I think he was on the lower end of it, but he was up on that.
Well, 4th degree
If he got the fluffy hat, he was a 4th degree officer.
he was 4th degree. And 4th degree concentrates more on patriotism, even though it's our core value as well. But that's more their their goal. They also escort the bishop, and they're there for all the high masses.
They're the visible wing.
Right.
They're
We're
all
more
the
in the
parades and that kind of stuff.
We're more in the back rooms, kitchens, that sort
We're in
of
the
thing.
kitchen. They're out front holding the sword.
We're also, there's finance councils, there's parish councils, there's, we're active in everything we do, just like you are here. This isn't the only group y'all are involved in. I know it, because at least when I was in college, the active people were active in a lot of things. It's the same with us. We're active in our church because of our priest. We're active in our council because we found that when a priest calls somebody, I might be busy, but I guarantee somebody else won't be. We have a uniqueness in this particular council because we serve 2 churches. Most councils only serve 1. We serve 2 because of the way we expanded, and then we just stayed together. So we're kind of unusual. We have our own hall. We don't meet in a church. Most of our councils meet in the church, but we don't. We have our own hall. So we have some uniqueness with ours. That's how Father Alvin, I'm at St. Joseph's. Most of these guys are at St. Thomas. Rob and I are, I guess, the only 2 from St. Joseph. And we've even got a St. Mary's guy over there. So,
Where's
2
y'all's
St.
hall?
Mary's guys. Ours at Hillside and Western.
Corner
It's
of
on the
Hillside
corner,
and
it's
Western.
like that little corner in those.
That's what I was thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're kind of a unique situation, and yet we're not. Our core values are all the same. So that makes us well. We get to talk to 2 priests, so we get input from 2 priests. If you don't know your priest, get to know your priest, no matter where you're at.
I'm sure y'all know this man by now.
Yes, we know Father Alvin.
Both the men and the women. The first thing to do, and it's easy to sit back as Catholics. We always sit in the back pew. I've never figured that out, but most of us, there we go, we're on the back pews. But get up and meet your priest, get up and meet people, and you wanna know how to join us, that's how. You go meet the priest, and Father John at St. Thomas is a Knights of Columbus. Father Hector is a Knight. Father Scott, Canyon Council, he's a Knight. Again, unless they've gotten something really strange, they're members of the Knights as well.
We want them.
They
We want them in.
They want us, and we want them.
We want to be able to help.
So
We're there to help the priest, protect the priest, back him up. That's part of our.
that's part of the relationship we have, and that's part of the vow we take.
It's funny that you bring that up, and this protect the priest came up. I was doing some research trying to figure out something to say, and I'd forgotten that when Father McGivney first started this, he wanted to call us the Sons of Columbus. And during one of his early meetings, somebody in the thing said, well, that doesn't sound very tough. We should be Knights. Because we're protecting the church. That's where that came from. Somebody in the council suggested it. That's pretty good. And the priest was like, yeah, you know what? That sounds tougher. Let's go with that.
Well, and also at the time of Father McGivney, there were a lot of secret societies being brought in.
That was a big deal.
And all that sort of thing. Well, we're not secret anymore. Started out a little secretive just because of the faith itself, but
not really.
Now we're not. We want everybody to know what we're doing.
We have moved up with the times, though. I mean, there's web pages, and I'm not very good at it, but some of the guys are.
We don't care,
You can YouTube stuff about the Knights, and you can watch a ceremony of people getting inducted. So it's not a secret. It's on YouTube.
That used to not be the case.
That wasn't the case before, but
but now.
I think that held some people back. They were worried about, I don't know what I'm joining. Well, now it's very transparent.
Well, one of the biggest changes I think for us as Catholic gentlemen is the fact that we're getting more and more bringing our wives. There's lots of councils that bring their wives to every other meeting, just so the wives get to see what we're doing. Because it is no matter what you do, it does take time away from the family. Even though I give more time to the family because of it, because it makes me more purposeful about what I'm doing and when I'm doing it and who I'm doing it with.
Well, like what you mentioned too, there's no time commitment when you join the Knights. I mean, you can go you know, a meeting once a month, you go to every meeting, every event. There's no specific or maximum time you can commit.
I'm only keeping track so I can turn in everybody's hours to keep our charity stats. That's a big deal. Young lady?
You mentioned the fluffy hats. Can you explain the uniform?
Tony, please step forward. Okay, so the fourth degree is the patriotic wing, the visible wing, right? They're the ones escorting caskets, escorting the bishop. They're the ones leading the parade, leading the right to life, the respect life parade, that kind of thing. They're the ones doing the honor guard of the flags. Those different hats and different baldric, is that what's called? Those all mean I'm a different officer, but it's the same thing as like the Grand Knight and the Deputy Grand Knight, but they're called the Tony what?
Navigator and the
Faithful Navigator. It's more, there's more maritime things in that fourth degree. They recently went under a new uniform, so no more fluffy hats. They all gonna wear, is it a beret? It's a beret and a suit jacket and one baldric. Yeah. The bishop didn't care for the swords. He had some problem with the swords, so the guys don't carry swords very much, so.
My favorite part.
Well, I thought so too.
So the fluffy hats were part of the sailor navigator,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And now they wear the berets, which is part of the French symbol for warrior, is that right, or soldier?
Since they're the patriotic wing, I think it based, if you look, especially if you look back at 1882, when it was founded and as it's moved forward, I think it just meant more, it was a sign of recognition and a sign of putting them out and separate and someone to look up to.
And before the fluffy hats, there used to be these big old top hats.
Stove top.
Stove top.
Your stove pipe. Stove pipe.
Sorry, young lady, go ahead.
I just have always wondered, you explained the Knights part, but what's Columbus all about? Like, why Columbus?
Why the Knights of Columbus?
Uh-huh.
This is before the internet, remember?
Right.
Okay. So everybody in that period and still today think Columbus braved the ocean blue. This is a guy who has a heart full of courage. He stood on his beliefs and he ventured out to help and to conquer. Well, thanks to the internet and negative opinion, now people say, oh, he was this, he was that. Well, we're not changing. I think there's even an argument that he's not from Genoa, he's from another part of Italy. I was like, oh, whatever. I'm not going back that far. I'm going to continue with what I'm doing. But yeah, it's because of his bravery. And if you think back, in those days, most of those people were getting here off of a ship. They were hitting Paris Island in New York. Or Ellis Island, not Paris Island. Sorry, different. Sorry, man. Sorry to you military guys. Yeah, and so they equated this journey that they've been on with Columbus.
Okay. I just had always wondered that if that was the Columbus or if it was somebody else.
Yeah, that was him. That was him. Yes, Father.
And what is interesting is in Southern Africa and certain parts of the world, they have, especially Southern Africa actually, the Knights of the Gama. And just like Columbus supposedly, came to this part
Was
of
the
world.
first here.
Yeah, it was the first here. Vasco da Gama was supposedly the first in that area to spot people. But so they call themselves again that's like the Knights of da Gama.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's part of that worldwide thing. There's another thing that I found very interesting. If you go on our Supreme website, you can select the language you want because it's all over the world.
Wow, that's cool.
So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of these documents I can get and they'll say, do you want it English, French, or Spanish? Well, for now, I'm going to stick to English.
I have a question. Why in Europe? I'm from Europe, so I'm a little bit disappointed that it's just in Poland and in was it Spain? There were two.
We have
Poland.
councils in Italy.
In Italy.
Italy,
and
France,
Poland.
and Poland, I think. I think France has got a few new ones now.
It's wherever they can
does
get
it
enough
try
Catholic
to
men.
get-
Yes, and that's
She
part
should
of the
bring it to
drive.
Austria. I was if you.
It,
Good credit.
I will keep you in
I
mind.
told this several people, and I'm so amazed, you know, I've never, I thought this is fantastic.
You know, I went to a conference years ago, and Archbishop Diego Garcia Sierra was there, and he told this story about meeting a bishop from some third world country, and I can't remember the name of it. But this bishop told him they had been persecuted, Catholics had been persecuted in this country to the point where no one came to church. He said, but he went and found himself a night. He said, and we're going door to door, knocking on doors, and we're finding our Catholics and bringing them back. And I thought, we think we got it hard? This guy's the bishop is having to go door to door to get his flock back because they're scared. And I thought, I'm so proud to hear that he went and got a knife. He probably had a sword, I don't know. But yeah, it's worldwide, but only where we can gather enough people to do this right here.
But we didn't know about it.
And that's
Never
true.
heard of
That's
it.
true. That's true. We do have the Columbiates, and I haven't gotten anything back, but I do know that at St. Mary's there was a group, I'm not sure what they call it, but they have a similar thing. They have officers and whatnot.
I believe it's the office, sorry.
Well, I know Miguel Navarro and his wife had started a Columbiates there.
Okay.
I can't remember. Is it Michelle? I can't remember. Carol Navarez. But it's on the diocesan webpage too.
Is the Catholic Daughters a big group within here in Amarillo?
There is some Catholic Daughters here. They're not associated with us, but we'll work with them.
St. Mark's has a
Yeah.
daughters.
Yeah. Anything else?
Where did the numbers come from? What is 4621?
Okay. The very first council was in St. Mary's in New Haven, right? From that point on, every council was number 2, number 3. So Council 1450, pretty early on in history. Council 4621, 1450 is over 100 years old.
And just for reference, the new council, we have a Spanish council at St. Joseph's that speaks Spanish. Their council number is 16666.
Wow.
And there are college councils, because I just got contacted by one, and his was 18707, and I thought, wow. We're college councils are neat because they keep these college guys involved. The problem is once you leave here, we can't find you.
But I think that's such an important point to say, you know, like the CSC here provides such a good environment and everything, you know, but then you send out, who are those who help you to stay and get support, you know, we need this, you know?
Right. I get all of my information from Supreme. The directors above all of us are called the Supreme Directors, the Supreme Officers. And we just got a new one. The guy's voice in the background of that was the Supreme Knight for years and years and years and years, Carl Anderson. And he was just replaced by a gentleman. And I think he's got to be high 70s, if not in his 80s. But I think he was around when I started. And that was a long time ago. So,
Just because of the sheer numbers, it gives us opportunities to do what 2 guys in a backstage couldn't do. It gives us pure, millions of dollars. The most meaningful thing I was ever involved in is our council gave to the Philippines when they had the tsunami. We didn't send them money, we sent them boats. So I thought that was really cool because the fishermen lost their boats. We didn't just send them cash, we sent them something better.
money helps, but it doesn't solve everything.
So that was one of the most meaningful.
Did anybody see the movie Mother Teresa? Knights put it on.
Oh, and I guess that's one of the other huge things the Knights do. Anytime you see the Pope on any kind of broadcast, it's done through the Knights.
We paid for it.
Anytime you see
our
it on
donations are
television,
paid
on
for.
radio, it's all through a Knights channel. That's how it starts. Knights pays for it.
Also, our founder is up for sainthood.
Yep, he's blessed already.
What, a miracle yet?
He's got one, they gotta have another one, and then,
The whole night's a big miracle. It should be.
there you go. But the night
might be
that
some that argue
actually,
that.
the actual miracle that was performed was on a night in the United States. His son was, when he was still in the womb, they checked and had a disease that was terminal. And he lived, thanks to the prayers.
You have some more questions?
I was gonna say, I don't know if this is true, but we had a friend who went to Rome, and is it true that like if you're a knight, you get to like you have the opportunity to like sit closer to the Pope or like something like that? I can't remember, but there was something like that.
Not that night or this night, but I'm sure there's some.
When I went, they didn't pick me out of the crowd. I can tell you that.
But I didn't know if there was
So
like
you had to come with
special
your floppy
things to do
hat.
there.
Something.
Oh,
sister.
you're
I-
thinking of going down to the catacombs.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this, if you will take a priest with you, a lot more doors open. Yeah.
Where's the caller?
We got to have mass at underneath St. Gregory's in Venice, and I'm guessing the rest of it, there was no other tourist in there. And I'm thinking it's only because Father Scott, who, I don't know, y'all probably all know Father Scott, right?
Yes.
Okay, he is the most gregarious, outgoing person you've ever met. And Father John is the total opposite, right? He's an introvert being led by this yahoo down here. And we got into places that I'm almost certain he just checked to see if it was open. But that was pretty cool. But yeah, I think the collar opened way more doors than my red shirt. It was an awesome trip. But Father John and Father Scott got to go meet the Pope, and we didn't. They had to go on a different trip. I was like, where'd they go? They went
Wait
to
a
meet the
minute,
Pope.
Steve, you mean the Pope didn't just wave to you personally?
He did. When he stepped out, he called my name. He stepped out. But there were so many nuns there that you couldn't hear it. I had
They're
never
always
heard
so
that.
excited.
I had never heard that before. There were so many nuns crying out, "Oh, Papa!" And I said, "This is awesome." It was just so awesome. And what a trip. But no, there's probably some Supreme officers that get a little backstage stuff. For the rest of us, no, sit in the crowd. It's okay. It was still an awesome trip. I recommend it to anybody that gets the opportunity. You have any more questions? I mean, I could talk all night about the nights, but it's just stuff. I don't know, Father, you got mass for us here shortly?
Thank you for what you're doing.
I would like to make a comment. These gentlemen gave the Catholic Student Center a nice check, and we thank you for that. We were able to purchase some security cameras for the Student Center. That big box in my office, that's what that is. We do have security cameras, but we're gonna update everything. So hopefully that'll be done this week. So gentlemen, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
We wrote a check. Tony, I don't remember writing a check.
It's in the bank.
It's in the bank.
We have our cameras.
I just want to thank the Knights for your generosity to our community. One,
Yes.
knowing that that's your council hall, that's where we have our calendar project
Oh,
every year, and we're
yes.
so grateful. And I
We
know
love
some of you
that.
have been out to Prairie Town
Yes,
and
ma'am.
given many hours of service. That they're coming. Some groups are coming next week. I don't know if that's any of you, but we're so
I just put it
grateful.
out to the
Yeah,
membership
me
to
too.
remind them.
14th St. Mary's Council will for sure be coming.
Well,
So.
thank you so in advance and for all that you all have done. for
Yes, ma'am.
us. Yes, cutting trees, doing electrical work.
Yeah,
everything.
same for us.
Well,
That's
we're
really
always
cool.
glad to serve. We're always glad to help.
Thank you.
Oh, what do they say? Jewels in your crown? Yeah.
No.
Jewels in my crown.
And this one is already in heaven, can't be taken away.
There you go.
That is one thing too, you know, not only are you doing stuff for that individual parish you're a part of, but, you know, for instance, we do stuff, for Prairie Town up by Boys Branch, you know, first out about 4621, but 1450, you know, we built ramps for Brother Knight for their houses.
And it doesn't have to be a night. It can be anybody in the community. We've done it for people we've never seen before.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know like we did one for, Brother Knight last year, so.
Not long ago, me and Tony and some others moved the lady from Amarillo to Panhandle because Father John called me and said, "You have a trailer, right?" I said, "Yes." "Can you move some furniture?" I said, "Sure." This lady's not even Catholic. I said, "Who is it?" He said, "I'm not really sure, but we decided to take care of her." He went with us. He didn't move anything. Me and Tony were the heavyweight lifters.
Buying lunch.
We also installed some cameras over at the couple.
Oh yeah, we did that too.
Nice.
It's
Just volunteer us now.
Oh, no.
what you'll find is the bigger your group, the more talent you will find in that group.
Well, we probably
Yes,
could have
yes,
done it.
yes. Thank you for your.
Well, thank y'all for letting us come. We actually look forward to doing this more often. We just weren't in the rotation, I guess. I'm not sure. But we will be.
Thank you.
And if you ever want to, go to that. It's just www.kofc.org. And then just look up videos in this little search bar. There's all kinds of videos to watch about us. That Into the Breach, those videos are real. Like that one that guy's talking about how you need to be.
Very good.
You need to stand up as a man.
And if y'all
It's
interested,
really
I don't know about 4621, 1450, I think we're actually doing Into the Breach after the night.
As the program?
So.
They did it at St. Thomas, but unfortunately I've been on nights and I'm out.
Yeah, we're doing it currently right now, so.
A beautiful
If
family.
any of y'all guys are interested, we'd be happy to have y'all, so.